What's going on, guys? Antonio here. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for me, and let's get into it. All right. So, Disney Plus has released the first two episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, I am going to spare you some suspense. Overall, I think Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is a thumbs up for me. If I had to rate it out of a 10, I'd say it's a strong 7 at least. I'd like to see more of the episodes. I'd like to see the rest of the season, and then I can reevaluate. But right now, it's a strong 7. Definitely a thumbs up. But I wanna critique it. So if you haven't watched Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I'd put me on pause for about an hour and just go watch the first two episodes of the series, and then come back and listen to me run my mouth. I will not be offended, but just, actually watch it and see if you think what I'm about to say is accurate. Okay, so this promotional poster here, you can see here, this is obviously an homage to Jack Kirby's cover to Amazing Fantasy 15. If you know about Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy 15, which Amazing Fantasy was about to be canceled. Stan Lee was working in the comic book industry, but he wasn't. He wanted to be a novelist by his own admission. And the famous story that's been told in multiple interviews, and there's a couple of Stan Lee documentaries that I've watched, but the basic thing was he was about to quit, and his wife was like, he was tasked with writing a story in Amazing Fantasy 15. It was about to end its publishing run, and his wife was like, "Baby, you about to quit anyway. Why don't you actually write a story that you want to write? Because the book's going to be canceled anyway. Do what you want to do, and and make this thing happen." So he came up with this idea with this. He had this teenager that has teenage problems. The family's struggling financially. The whole deal. He gets bullied at school. He's a smart kid. He happens to be on like a field trip with the rest of his class. He's in this laboratory. They're experimenting with radiation, and there's a spider that gets caught in this radioactive beam, and then it lands on Peter's hand, bites him, and transfers the proportionate strength and abilities of a spider, minus the ability to actually make webs. But he has super strength. He can cling to walls, and then he's smart, so he figures out how to make his own webbing and to do the whole deal. But he got Jack Kirby to draw the cover. He tried to have Jack Kirby design the spider suit and all that, like he did with Captain America and all that. But Jack Kirby submitted several designs. Stan Lee was like, "Oh man, these are awful." There was a young artist in the bullpen at Marvel by the name of Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko said, "Hey, can I take a crack at it?" Stan was frustrated with the designs that Jack Kirby, who he said had always knocked it out the park for him with character designs. He said, "Yeah, take a crack at it." And we get what is the iconic classic Spider-Man costume with the webbing under the wings and the spider and the whole deal. And so then, now that Stan Lee signed off on the design, he had Jack Kirby draw the iconic cover to Amazing Fantasy 15. Now, this art style is not Jack Kirby. This art style is very similar to Mike Waringo. I think there's a lot of Mike Waringo in the character designs on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. if I talked to the people behind the scenes and they said they weren't influenced by Mike Waringo, I would raise an eyebrow on that. I'd look like The Rock with the people's eyebrow, because this is this very much, like, I followed Mike Waringo's career for over 30 years. I read first stuff I read was him working with Mark Waid on The Flash. He did some Robin with Chuck Dixon. I think he wrote about 8 to 10 issues, or penciled about 8 to 10 issues of that. He hopped over. They did the amalgam thing where it was Marvel and versus DC, and they did that Spider-Boy crossover, which was Spider-Man and Superboy crossed over, because I thought he drew some issues of Superboy as well, but I might be wrong on that. But he did draw, and I have that in my collection, the Spider-Boy amalgam issue that blended Spider-Man and Superboy. And so then they ended up bringing him over to Marvel. He did he did some Spider-Man issues. Matter of fact, there was a comic book called Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and Mike Waringo was the regular artist on that for, I think, a little over a year or so. He drew multiple issues on that. And he also worked with Mark Waid again on Fantastic Four, but the book wasn't selling. They were trying to cancel it, but the fans rallied and saved them. They were about to fire Mike Waringo and Mark Waid off Fantastic Four, but a lot of people really loved that Fantastic Four run with Mark Waid and Mike Waringo. But Mike Waringo unfortunately passed away a few years ago, and but he's got some sons in the art department on this book. It's very clear that he influenced this. Now, let's actually talk about certain things that that are kind of eye raising, with the thing. So a lot of people were talking about the race and gender swapping of characters. Okay, Kurt Connors, the Lizard, an iconic Lee Ditko villain, is a man, a white male. Now he is Carla Connors, and she's a black woman, still disabled with just the one arm. But Peter is at school under her, or he's at Oz. She's working for Oscorp, and he is her intern in her department now. So they're setting certain things up. They look like they clearly set up Venom. That's obviously. So they got Venom. They had a little Doctor Strange cameo, Venom. They set up a symbiote. Doctor Strange does his thing, gets him out of there, but before Doctor Strange zaps everybody out there, there's like this like a Venom spider. And that's how they do it's like a real quick 5 minutes. They don't do a big long pilot episode where they show how Spider-Man got it. He gets his powers within like the first 5 minutes of the show, and then they just off it. And I kind of like that, because I've been reading Spider-Man for over 40 years. So I know how he got there. Just be real quick about it and intentional, get him up out of there. Now, this person in this Amazing Fantasy 15, this is this black, a lot of people was like, oh, Harry Osborn, the son, because Norman Osborn, who becomes the Green Goblin, is a black man in this. And I think he's played by, what's the guy, Coleman Domingo. He was on Euphoria, which I know Euphoria has been like delayed. It's supposed to come back like maybe next year or something. But the Zendaya television show Euphoria, that guy Coleman Domingo, he's been nominated for an Oscar and the whole deal. But I'm hearing he actually might pop up in the actual MCU as Norman Osborn as well, and not just as a voiceover actor. But they changed Norman Osborn's race, so obviously his son Harry would be black as well. But a lot of people was like, whoa, so Harry is not a boy, he's a girl. Well, let me actually pull this up. If I can get it to work. Let's see. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, sorry, a little technical. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. Now you see this very closely there, right? That's Harry Osborn. He's got his hair up in a bun. He's got earrings on both ears. He's wearing lipstick. He's wearing a blouse. And very quickly, Spider-Man saves him. Spider-Man saves him. He's being bullied at school. He's being chased by a group of boys, and Spider-Man ends up saving him. And so I was like, oh, okay, so he's just a black girl now. But then he talks, and he's like, hi, I'm Harry. And I was like, oh, okay, so they're doing that. He's a black boy, but he's dressed in female clothing. I don't know if they're saying he's transgender. It's only been 2 episodes, but he's clearly a black male that dresses in female clothing. He's got like I said, you see it right there. He's got, he's dressed in female clothing. That's why a lot of people's like, oh, so Harry Osborn is like Harriet Osborn. No, he's still Harry. No, he's still a man with a deep voice. He is just, he dresses in female clothing though. They just put it out there, but they didn't go too deep into it, right? So that's what that is. But yeah, they got a black, and a lot of people's like, why do they always take the black person? Remember, if you watch the Arrow television show, they took the Mr. Terrific character, and Mr. Terrific was straight in the comic books. He had a wife, and I think his wife had died through some unfortunate circumstance. But the Mr. Terrific character was, well, the original Mr. Terrific was white, but in the Golden Age, Mr. Terrific. But then as we get into the modern age, they brought him back, and he was a black character. But on the Arrow show, he's still black, but they made him gay with a white husband. So a lot of people were like, wait a minute, he was straight in the comic books. Why did you make him gay? So and it seems like a lot of times with black characters, that's what they're going to do. But yeah, Harry is still a boy, but he goes to school with, dressed as a female with lipstick. And then they made sure that everybody chasing him, except I think maybe one of them was a minority, but it looked like the people chasing and bullying him were white people. I had to go back and watch, but I could have swore maybe one of the bullies was, they made sure it was a minority, but the main guy was like a white guy, and I thought they had an Asian guy or something. They were trying to, they didn't want to make sure all the bullies were one race or whatever. So, but yeah, this is Harry. They also had the, Lonnie Lincoln character that's like the star of the football team. Lonnie Lincoln, if you follow the comics, becomes Tombstone in the comics, who is a big time Spider-Man villain. He's one of the, he's always in these like gang war storylines and stuff. He's trying to take out Hammerhead. He's trying to take out the Kingpin. They're all battling with each other to become the big mob boss of New York City. So Lonnie Lincoln right now is like besties with Peter Parker, and he's not an albino yet, because like different origin stories I've seen for Tombstone, he's always a black guy. He grew up in the hood, and then he becomes this because he's like he has a lot of backstory and history with Luke Cage, Power Man. So like he was in Harlem with Luke Cage and stuff like that. But I've seen different things where he was either a normal child and then became Tombstone, or he was always an albino. And, with super strength, he's got really hard skin and enhanced strength and stuff like that. But Lonnie Lincoln's on this as well. But like I said, I don't know how I feel about that, but I thought the writing on the first 2 episodes was really solid, and they set up a lot of stuff. I'm interested in it. I am going to finish the series. Now, I might come back after the series is concluded and say, you know what, I was wrong. This is god awful. But the first 2 episodes are a thumbs up for me. I looked on Rotten Tomatoes. It has like 96% critics. The fans 70%. So it's got thumbs up from both critics and the fans, so that's good. Looks like it's doing numbers. It's trending on X right now. But if you watch Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I would very much like to hear what you think. Get in the comments. Give us a follow. We want you here. Facebook, Instagram. I'm on X. I'm on Threads. All at Akari Press. Type in mavenscomic.com and that will take you to the pre-launch page for my comic book, my upcoming comic book with former WWE superstar Maven Huffman. We're doing a little supernatural business there. It's called Maven. I wonder why. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milk. Can I help you? My goodness, you're handsome.
Ah, thanks. You're a handsome man too.
Oh wait, you're not selling encyclopedias, are you? I mean, we got Google.
Oh, no. You're that former wrestler that has a YouTube channel, aren't you? Marvin?
No, Piers, it's Maven. Are you a wrestling fan?
Oh, God, no. My son says that you have a comic book about to come out. Is that true?
Yeah, actually. Just go to mavenscomic.com and as little as $8 you can get your very own copy, and you or your son can even have yourself drawn into the comic.
Mavenscomic.com? Great, thanks. Oh, you'll never guess who I just talked to. Marvin!
Just go to mavenscomic.com and get your very own.